What are dependent lists? There are values shown which depend on the value in another list. For example, if I choose either sons or daughters, I see from a list that I can choose, and then that list also has a dependent list called the family member, where I can choose a name. So the name was dependent upon the choice in the first column. Now let's see how we can construct our own list of families and family members. And it works like this. The first step is to create two worksheets, as you see down here. Call them My Family Lists and My Family Data. In the My Family Lists worksheet, type the data that you see. Make certain that there is a blank column between each of the lists of information. Now convert each of the columns containing information to tables. Do that by clicking once in a cell in the information, go to the Home tab, and in the Styles group, Format as Table, and choose a format and click OK. Your table has a header. Do the same for the other two columns of information. We now name the cells in each of the columns. In the Family column, select the data, not the heading. Go to the name box and type Family. And press enter. Then do the same for the sons. Select the data, not the headings. In the name box, call them sons. Press enter. And finally, the same with the daughters. Select the data, not the headings, and call them daughters. And press enter. Having created the tables and the names, we're now in a position to create our drop-down lists in the My Family Data worksheet. The procedure is this. Click in cell B3, go to Data, Data Validation, and we want to create a list, and the source will be equal family. And when we click OK, we'll see that there is a drop-down list allowing us to choose sons or daughters. We'll choose sons. In cell C3, I want to also create a drop-down list, and in this case the source will be equal indirect. Open a bracket. We want to refer to cell B3, which is what the indirect function does, and when we click OK, we see that there is a drop-down list with the sons' names. If I wanted to see the daughters' family members, I could click on daughters, click in the member column, the drop-down list, and there are their two daughters. We'll choose Anna. Now, both of my daughters have children. Anna has Billy, Susan has Mary and Helen. And what I want to do, I've already created tables for the information, but now I need to name the cells. I click in Billy first up and go to the name box, and this next step is extremely important in that I name the cells after the name of the mother. In this case it will be Anna, and I press enter. I do the same for Susan's children. I select both of them, go to the name box, type Susan, exactly the same as the spelling in the daughters column, and press enter. Now I can go to my family data, and I've typed a heading my grandkids, and what I want to do is to create a drop down list. So I go to data validation, create a list, and the source of the list again will be equal indirect, open a bracket, and in this case the reference will be to C3 because that is where the mother's name is, of course. C3, close the bracket and click OK. I now see there is a drop down here. So for Anna, she has a son Billy. If I choose Susan and click the drop down, she has Mary and Helen. So that's how I create another dependent drop down list. Remember, the naming of the cells for the children was very important. It had to be the same name as the member that appeared here. Incidentally, the reason we use tables is that if one of the daughters has another child, for example Susan has had Bobby, the table automatically expands to take care of that extra data. So now if I go to the My Family data, I can click on the My Grandkids and I see that Bobby has been automatically entered. That's the reason we use tables. It allows for additions and deletions.